Traditionally, the constitutional position is that every individual is free to go about his or her own business without interference by the state. And it's only if a police officer has reasonable grounds for suspicion that an individual then can be subject to police intervention of some kind. But the use of live facial recognition, in my view, fundamentally reverses that presumption. It means that everybody is under suspicion, and then it's up to you to justify that your behaviour is benign. These technologies have the capacity to cause real harm and real adverse consequences. It's absolutely vital that we have legal structures, systems and legislative frameworks in place that can ensure that there is proper responsibility and accountability. As a lawyer and an ethicist, I'm especially concerned about the unintended effects of these technologies, particularly when you think about the scale at which they can be used, and we now have global platforms that operate instantaneously around the world. If we don't attend to those implications, I'm really concerned that we may discover that we're living in a world that's not quite the one that we would have wished for had we thought carefully about it at the time the technologies were starting to emerge. In relation to the criminal justice system, we see in the US in particular the increasing turn to machine learning-based, data-driven, predictive systems, so for predicting where we should send the police, and increasingly to make predictions about whether or not a particular individual is a risk to the public, and that's understood in terms of whether or not a particular person is considered likely to offend in the future within a particular time period. Although this sounds like a fantastic idea, and if we could manage it, I guess it would be fantastic. The problem is, of course, that in fact we don't have a reliable data set concerning where crime has actually taken place and by whom. Instead, what we have is a very flawed set of arrest data, which will tell us who has been arrested for a suspected crime, but it doesn't tell us who in fact has committed a crime, because people who are arrested are not necessarily charged, and those who are charged are not necessarily convicted. And on top of that, lots of crimes are committed for which no arrests are made. So if we make predictions from a very sophisticated system that's drawing on arrest data, we have to be very, very careful about what it is that these machines are actually predicting. Lots of public concerns about the increasing use of these powerful digital technologies have been captured in the phrase, the need for AI ethics. But one of the real weaknesses of ethics is that it has no institutional system of enforcement. The law, on the other hand, is a very advanced, established system for holding people to account, to hold them responsible. And without an institutional system for monitoring and enforcement, then AI ethics will not achieve very much in providing real-world protection. And that's why the role of the law is absolutely vital and needs to be a central part of these debates and discussions.